this chapter will be based on a simple point-to-point link. What are the components in it? And then while designing, what are the considerations that you have to take into while designing, what are the system considerations? And finally, what should be the power levels at the input and what should be the data rate is what you need to calculate. So the objectives are optic system design consideration, power budget, and operating principles of the some components. The second part of it, yeah, the first part is about all these design considerations, and the second part of it is about various means optical fiber is not only limited to a optical signal being a carrier, but also using the radio frequencies and the microwave frequency on the photonics. So those are the some of the you can say the research areas on which the work is going on. So that will be the second part of it. So if I consider a simple point-to-point link, the information has to transfer over a short or a long distance depending upon your link length. Or your network could be a distributed network, or simple, it could be a small LAN has also been commercialized. Commercially, optical network is being used in these areas. So if I look at the components or a complete point-to-point link, so you can clearly see that you have the input, which is an electrical signal from which is coming to a light source, which modulates your electrical signal. And this is feeding it into a transmission medium, that is our fiber. Now, when it is feeding, there has to be a connector, right? So this is a component which is connecting your input from a light source to a fiber, or basically it's a medium where when the signal is traveling, it is getting coupled into it. Now, this whole fiber link length from say one source to the destination, it's not necessarily that you have a single fiber length, but you may have, there are chances that say if I have a 500 kilometer of link and fiber spool is of 100 kilometers, you may have to actually join the fibers at multiple points to make that link of 500 kilometers. So the points at which your fibers are joined, they are called as splices. So this is nothing but a fiber joint, which could be in a permanent in nature. This is again a joint which is not permanent in nature. You can actually remove it and again connect it at some other point. So this is like basically heating up and making a fixed joint. So that's a splice. And at the end of a destination, again, what you have to do is you have to couple the signal coming at the end of it into the detector. So there again, you need a connector. And what the next is after the detector, you get your electrical signal. So this is what is a complete link that is to be designed. And in this, you need to understand what should be your input power level, what should be your receiving power level at a detector. Why that is important is because every detector has got a sensitivity. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is actually a characteristic of a detector which talks about what should be the minimum power level that should be reaching a detector for it to be able to convert that optical signal into an electrical signal. If the power levels are below that sensitivity level, what will happen is your detector won't be able to give you the required information, or basically whatever is the information being transmitted, your detector won't be able to detect. So sensitivity, you can say, is the minimum power level that should reach your detector. So if I'm transmitting say P power from my transmitter, the points of losses are this: the loss at the collector, the loss at the splices, the loss in the fiber, This is a loss in the fiber, and at the connector again, you again have a loss. So if the total power minus the loss at first connector, the splice, second splice, or n number of splices are there, the losses are there, and the loss in the fiber minus the loss in the the second connector, the power being received here should be greater than the sensitivity. That is your link power budgeting. The power budgeting is about what should be the power transmitted from the source so that the received power at your detector, I should say received PR, the received power at the detector is larger than the sensitivity of the detector. So the components, as we have seen, in any link is in addition to these, the other components which you may come across while making a design is an optical amplifier, because when the fiber length is long, you need to have a repeaters or regenerators and also the amplifiers to enhance the power level. Then there could also be a loss associated at the receiver point and at the similarly at the detector point, and all these have to be taken into consideration while designing your power budget. The second point is what impacts your data rate. The data rate, definitely it has to be such that you don't have an aliasing, the overlapping, and you are able to detect your electrical signal. So what decides your data rate is the response time of each component connected in your circuit. So what could be the component? There could be a rise time associated with the transmitter side, similarly at the receiver side, or there could be some delays associated with the group velocity or modes traveling through it. So all these response time, basically it's the response time of your system which results in the actual bit rate that can be transmitted through your fiber. So if we talk about the response time, so what will be an impact would be, say if this is my sequence of pulses that I am sending. Now, because of the response time, you know, now what is a rise time or response time? It is the time taken by your system to rise from 10% level to the 90% level. And again, it has to decay. So what is happening is, instead of sending this pulse, what may happen is, at the receiver end, you may be, because of the delays of rise time, and this could be the kind of pulse you are receiving. Now, what may happen is, if this decay time again further, I should change the color. So if suppose till now it's detectable, now if it is like this, then it starts. So what is happening is, you are actually losing your pulses, or sometimes you may lose your bit information. So this data rate or the bit rate that you are transmitting depends upon these delays, or the rise time and the fall time delays, or the response time of your system, which will be actually impacting your data rate. And the total, you to calculate the total response time, since it's an RMS view, remember we last time while calculating the dispersion and the broadening, we have calculated the RMS values. So the total response time is the mean square value, or the response time, say if it is because of the transmitter. We'll come to all these equations. This is just an introduction, that or receiver or any other term which is actually contributing to the, okay, which is contributing to this impacting of the on the response time. Now we have also considered the bandwidth length product. So for a fiber system, the bandwidth length product will be constant, and depending on that, say for 8.85 micrometer, what is the bandwidth length product? Similarly, on basis of this, you will decide what will be the length and how much dispersion or what will be the data rate. So basically the fiber length and the data rate, there has to be a compromise depending upon the wavelength that you are using. Definitely for a higher wavelength that you are sending, you have a higher bandwidth length product, so that even assures you that you can send higher data rates over a long link length. Okay. So while designing, what all the three requirements is, you need to basically design on is what will be the possible transmission distance, what will be the possible data bandwidth or the data rate that you can transmit, what is the desired BER. So the optical systems have got a very low BER, because the system is having less noise as compared to a simple electrical system. Now this, as I've already shown you in the bandwidth length product, this is again to show you that what is the distance and the bit rate that can be supported at the various bandwidth length. So you can see that the distance for even for the high distance, you can see the bit rate is very slightly reduced. Say, sorry, the bit rate is increasing, even there is a slight reduction in the distance, because you know the bandwidth length product has to be a constant, and the bandwidth length product, you know how to calculate the from the bit rate the bandwidth. Okay, so that is what is a bandwidth length product, and you can simply see that a slight reduction in the distance that can be transmitted as the data rates are increasing, and that definitely depends upon the type of fibers that you are using, a conventional fibers, the multimode graded index fibers. You can clearly see. So this plot is actually about a comparative study of performance, because bandwidth length product is a major contributor when you are deciding what will be the system being used or the fiber being used for the link that you are making. So this, as we have already seen also, the step in multimode step index fiber, you can see the distance is the smallest and the maximum bandwidth also, that or the bit rate that it can support is very low compared to multimode graded index fiber, and which further improves for a single mode conventional fiber. And when we are using 1550, that is a dispersion shifted fiber, that further improves. So this is for your single mode operation, and this is for a multi-mode operation. Definitely multi-mode, as we have already, and this also again plot tells you that why we use single mode fibers for long distance transmission, and long and multi-mode fibers for a short distance transmission, because of the maximum data rate that you can transmit as well as the maximum link length that you have. Okay. Now, design consideration, as I've already told you, we'll be having two major considerations depending upon the components that we are using, is what should be the power that should be transmitted, and what should be the bandwidth or the data rate that should be transmitted through your link. And definitely why you are doing all this is whether your signal will be received at the destination is in a proper form, that it can be detected. So it is about the these two are actually necessary, these two budgets necessary conditions for satisfactory operation. So as I told you, that the later part of it could be you are given a link with all what connected in it. You need to make a decision or analyze it and tell that this is the right dimensions given, and or basically this system will be able to give you the output in the with the right sensitivity. So this is how a link budgeting is done is shown here is you have a system. As I said, you have an input power. I have already shown you the P is being transmitted. Now you have a connector. There is a connector patch cord, and then you have the fiber link where you may have the losses, and this is the splices. They are the connectors to make your link. Now in this, what we have to do is you need to calculate what is the losses in this network. Input power था -4 dB or received output power है -16 dB. So what is the total loss across this connectors, splices and fiber? How do you calculate? It is nothing but the transmitted power minus the receiver sensitivity. Okay, so it is -4 minus of -16, that is it is plus 12 dB is the losses that you can afford. It's not necessarily that you should be having that much losses, but that simply says that you cannot have a system with losses or the components in your system where the losses exceeds the 12 dB. In case if the losses exceeds 12 dB, then it says that the link is not giving you the satisfactory operation, and you need to either increase the input power level or reduce the components or basically the link length, whatever could be a decision that needs to be taken for making a system work satisfactorily. So link budget will help you to calculate the fiber loss, the connector loss, splice loss, and margin. Now this, what is this margin? We always, when we say that 12 dB is the loss that can be afforded by the system, that does not mean that we will be working at our limits. Limits in a sense that all the components will be connected in the system which amount to a loss of 12 dB. We will always be working with the margin in a sense that maybe you will allow the losses to be say 6 dBs or 7 dBs, but not beyond that, because we always keep a margin of 6 to 7 dBs. The reason being that you know that you have the electronic components at the transmitter and receiver, and there is an impact of aging on it, so the losses may change with the aging. Secondly, there could be a chances that advancement of your network could be by adding additional components in it. So that margin is actually provided so that in future, if you have additional components being added in your system, it will be allowed, and without actually needing any change in the transmitter and the receiver part. Okay, now how do we calculate the loss? So this patch cord which is shown as a connector loss. So there are two connector losses. So we will have connector loss that will definitely be in your data sheet. What is a loss associated with this connector? So number of connectors into connector loss plus the fiber patches, right? So what is the fiber length into, you remember the attenuation alpha, that was alpha dB per kilometer. So multiplying your fiber attenuation into the distance. Now, how many splices are used? Splices also have the losses. So number of splices into the splices loss will give us the sum of all these three components will give us the total link loss. Okay. Now, what are the design considerations when you are making your link? So what are the components we have already seen? You have the source, your fiber, your receiver. We have even seen the variation in the losses associated with the fiber, with the type of the fiber being used, whether it's a multi-mode fiber, single mode fiber. So if we look at what are the design consideration when you are designing an LED, definitely it has to be the, what is the wavelength, right? We have seen the losses associated with the fiber. We have clearly seen it has, the wavelength has an impact on what is the loss distance that can travel and what is the data rate. So what is the, when you are design consideration will also have an important parameter is what is the wavelength that you are transmitting. We all know the dispersion is dependent upon the spectral width of the source. So the second important parameter when we are designing what is the source that is to be used for a link is the spectral line width. Then definitely the third is how much power, right? Input power will decide whether the power, and the link length will decide whether the power being received at a receiver is having a minimum sensitivity or not. So the next is what is an output power of this? Whether when I have even told you that LED always give you a power which is much lower than that of a laser. So when you have a higher power requirement, and definitely it's for longer distance length, we always prefer LED, and for a short LAN network, you can use your for long distance, lasers are used, and for the short LAN network, you can use your LED. Then what is an effective radiating area, so that you know that whether the signal will be covered properly, coupled properly into the fiber, and the emission pattern. Now, when I come to the fiber, what are the characteristics of a fiber? Whether it's a multi-mode or a single mode fiber, then that is dependent upon the V number, which is dependent upon the core size, the core refractive index, the numerical aperture, right? All these three are, what are they? They are nothing. All three I can replace it by the V number. We have already calculated. That is actually deciding whether it's a multi-mode fiber or a single mode fiber. And it will, how much dispersion will be happening, what is the material losses, intramodal dispersion happening in it. So the next, what will be impacting your budgeting, that will be your dispersion. And attenuation, that will again, basically this is for your time budgeting, and this will be used for your power budgeting. Coming to the last component, now optical receiver, what it is nothing but a detector. Detector, all of you have done those experiments of EDC where you have seen the impact of light on phototransistors. So what it is I'll just explain in brief. We will be doing it in detail when we are doing our chapter on detectors. Now what it is, it's that you can say a pin diode or a, okay, you have studied it in brief. Okay, so you know I can explain you. So basically what is happening is your detector, it can, you can take it as a simple PN junction diode, right? Normally under when you are keeping it under forward bias, the current is flowing because of the transfer of the carrier, and there is a depletion region existing. Now if suppose we take a condition when no current is flowing, that is the power is voltage applied is not above this potential barrier. Now you have an external excitation. External excitation could be a heat or a light. So when a light falls on it, what happens is when light falls on it, what happens is it gives energy to the carriers and breaks the electron hole pairs in the depletion region. So what is happening is new carriers are generated. Now these new carriers start contributing to the current. So what has happened is this external excitation, that is an optical or a light, is converted into an output which is an electrical. So your detector is also a transducer which converts an optical illumination into an electrical signal. So that is what is a Yeah, that is what is a detector, which is a pin. Pin means you will have a small P and an N region, and in between you will have a large intrinsic area. The reason for it is, if you remember, the lower is your doping, the higher is the depletion region. And we want that because pin diodes, they will be working under the reverse bias condition. We want it to be larger because that is the area where your electron hole pairs are generated. Okay, so pin is nothing but a simple PN configuration where in between P and N region you have an intrinsic area which has where your carriers are generated. Now APD is avalanche photo detector. It is nothing but uh, a configuration in which With the bias, you are actually working in a breakdown region. So what happens is, under the suddenly the current increases, there is a multiplication factor, and the larger current is generated. So what you can say is, every time when you are optical receiver, the photo detector will be the first part, then you will have an amplifier. So the need of an amplifier, you can say, is reduced when you have a system, a detector, which itself has an amplifier embedded in it. That is, it is giving you an amplified out. Now, what is the responsivity is? Responsivity is a characteristic of a detector which depends upon what is a band gap. That is the minimum energy required for a carrier to cross this depletion region or the barrier region and reach to the other. Then only it starts contributing to the current. So only certain wavelengths, right? There is within every wavelength, with every wavelength, there is an energy associated with it. We have already seen that it is E is equivalent to hc by lambda, right? Every photon, right? It's a photon energy. So with every photon corresponding to a certain wavelength, it will have an energy hc by lambda. If this energy is greater than the band gap energy, this energy will be sufficient to break your bonds and create the electron hole pairs, right? So responsivity is telling you what should be the wavelength that you should be transmitting, because higher is the wavelength, the lower is the energy. So there will be a limit till which you can basically, the responsivity curve of a detector is a linear curve till a certain wavelength. After that, there is no response, because what is happening is the wavelength has increased. This is a wavelength and this is a responsivity curve. So what it shows that till certain wavelength, it will definitely have a linear curve, but beyond that, it suddenly drops to zero. The reason being the energy of the photon is not larger than Eg. And for that particular wavelength, this device, it will simply be acting like a transparent, means it will simply pass through without creating any electron and holes. Operating wavelength, yes, that is very important. As I told you, that will tell whether this detector will be able to respond or not. The speed and the sensitivity. Sensitivity, I've already told you that it is about minimum power required. So these are the design considerations when you are designing your link. So before selecting a suitable component, the wavelength of a system is decided, and depending upon the wavelengths, you will decide the other components. That operating wavelengths will definitely decide your distance, attenuation. Now the next is selecting a photo detector. I told you what are the characteristics of a photo detector that are taken into consideration. What is the minimum of sensitivity, that is minimum optical power that should fall on a detector to satisfy BER at a specified data rate. Then what should be the bias requirement? I told you that it is the barrier that is actually deciding whether a light falling on it will be able to generate the electron hole pairs. The responsivity, the operating wavelength, right? Responsivity and operating wavelength are actually related. The response will be happening at certain wavelengths, and it will act as transparent to certain wavelengths. The definitely this speed is about the rise time, right? What is the speed? It is about the response time, and response time depend upon the parasitic resistances, the capacitances, which contribute to the device response time to the changes in an input pulse. Okay, so the speed of the response, the area, the photosense, how much area is available for the light to be actually interact with the device and get converted into an electrical signal. And definitely the cost of the design. Cost is always one of the parameters when you are designing. the optical source, right? So optical source का हमने क्या क्या देखा था? That what is the wavelength, what is the spectral width, what is the power that is coming out of it, the complexity, cost, the cost, and the stability and reliability, right? As I told you that we are keeping a system margin, that is to take into consideration the aging effect of these electronic circuitry connected. So the stability, reliability, and the cost, they are also very important. They are related about the system performance with the aging. And the for the fiber, as I told you, the V number, that is what which type of fiber, single mode, multi mode, and that is deciding the V number based on numerical aperture, the core radius, the relative refractive index, the attenuation associated with it, and environment introduced losses, but we know that that will be very minimal. So now let's do one problem. This I have already covered. So this is just a representation of how the losses are increasing when considering each component. Okay, so this is a formula which you will be using is the power budgeting allowed losses, the PS, the power being sent through the transmitter, the received at the detector, and then the losses are M, that is the number of connectors into the loss at a connector, number of splicers into the loss at a splice, alpha is the attenuation at the fiber length, and the system margin. I think now we can do numericals. Okay. Now, this is the first numerical. There is a lot of practice questions that have to be done for this particular topic. So, receiver has a sensitivity of minus 45 dBm. Now, yeah, one more important thing. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between dB and dBm? I think I had covered that, but still, when you're doing power budgeting, you will come across this. When we are taking the value of power as 10 log of P, the unit is dB. Okay. And when we take the power as with reference to 1 milliwatt, that means P, yeah. Yeah, decibel milliwatt is, it is P divided by 1 milliwatt, right? This, when we write, the unit is dBm. Okay, right? I hope the difference between dB and dBm is clear. dBm is with reference to 1 milliwatt. So always you divide it by 1 milliwatt and yes. Okay. Now can you tell me? Simple question है आपका, आपको receiver का sensitivity दिया है. That is minus 45 dBm, right? So it is minus 45 dBm is equivalent to 10 log of P by 1 milliwatt, right? This is what it means. What is an incident minimum power? So he is asking you what is the P. Can you calculate P and tell me? 3.16 milliwatt. Everyone, are you getting this answer? Yes. Okay. So I hope now it is clear, because in case you are given the power directly, you first need to convert it into dB or dBm depending upon the unit of the other side. Normally क्या होता है, receiver का power is given in dBm and transmitter का power is given in dB. You have to be very cautious while substituting it in the equations, because that unit, if you don't take into consideration, may result in the wrong answers. Okay. So everyone please check. 3.16 is not correct milliwatt. It is 3.16 into 10 to power of minus 5 milliwatt. या अभी आया क्या सबका कि नहीं? Okay, now this is numerical of a full link. The component choice of a digital fiber link for an overall length 10 kilometer and operating at 20 Mbps are as follows. The LED compatible of launching an average power is 0.1 milliwatt at 850 nanometers. Fiber attenuation is 2.5 dB per kilometer. Requires a splicing every 2 kilometer with a loss of 0.3 dB per splice. Connector loss is 1.5 dB. Receiver power needed of minus 46 dBm in order to get 10 to power minus 9 BER. Please remember, if you are asked a question, what is the expected BER of an optical link, it is my 10 to power of minus 5. और वो जो तुम्हारा electrical link था, I think it is 10 to power of minus 5. Just check it. ये optical का 10 to power of minus 9 रहता है. Predicted safety margin is 6 dB. Okay, so basically we need to calculate, find the link power budget. Okay, so what are the formulas that we will be using is, as I have already shown you. What are the total losses? Total loss कितना होगा? कितने connector दिख रहे हैं आपको इसमें? How many connectors? So it is 2 into the connector loss. Total 10 kilometer का link है at every 2 kilometers. So this is first 2 kilometer, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So is it 5 or 4? Right? Are you getting why it is not 5? Just simply 10 divided by 2 इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि ना starting में है ना last में. It is in between that you have the splices joined. Correct? So it is plus, that is 4 into the splice loss. Correct? Now what else is the loss? The fiber attenuation. What is the total link length? 10 kilometer and alpha is 2.5 dB per kilometer. So it is alpha, that is 2.5 dB per kilometer into the link length. Now do you have any other losses, any other component in it? No. So what is the total loss? Can Mohit can you tell me? 2 into collector loss is 1.5 dB. So how much it is? आपको दिया हुआ है ना कनेक्टर लॉस कितना है? हर कनेक्टर का लॉस 1.5 dB. 2 into 1.5, 3. Then what will be the splicer loss? Per splice loss is 0.3 dB. There are 4 splices. So it is 25. Which is equivalent to 29.2. What is the unit? dB or dBm? Yes, the loss is in dB. Okay. Now tell me what is the total allowed loss for it. That is the total, basically the power budgeting or margin is What will be the power margin? It will be the power that is from the transmitter minus the sensitivity of the detector, right? Okay. So what is the transmitted power? Can you tell me? LED. Transmitter is what is an LED? Launching an average power of 0.5 milliwatt. So what you have to do is, when all these calculations we are doing in dBs. So first thing that you need to convert your power into 10 log of 0.1. Please see what is the unit sensitivity of a receiver. It is in dBm. I told you you cannot simply convert it into dB, but both the units have to be same. So for that I have to convert it into dBm, not dB. How do I convert into dBm? Is I divide the power by 1 milliwatt. Tell me what is the transmitted power, right? I have written the formula. You just need to calculate and tell me. Is there any doubt in what I have done and why I have done? I have done this to get my unit in dBm. Why? Because my sensitivity is given in dBm. Both the units have to be matched. Minus 10. 1 milligram 10. सबका ये आ रहा है? So what will be my power margin that is allowed? Transmitted is minus 10 dBm and sensitivity is minus 46 dBm. तो कितना होगा? Minus 10 minus of minus 46 is plus 46. तो कितना आया? What is the unit? dB या dBm? The unit is dB. Now why it is dB? Although both were in dBm, why it is dB? That I'll just explain you in the next slide. See. Yeah. हमारा क्या है? 10 log of power from the transmitter divided by 1 milli, right? It's in dBm. Minus 10 log of sensitivity, that is the minimum power at the detector, again that is divided by 1 milli. ठीक है? जब ये क्वांटिटी पूरी 1 मिली से होती है तो यूनिट हमारा dBm आता है. Now can I write it like just by splitting 10 log of PT minus 10 log of 1 milli, correct? Minus 10 log of PS plus 10 log of 1 milli. Okay. So minus 10 log of 1 milli and plus 10 log of 1 milli get cancelled. What do I have is 10 log of PT minus 10 log of PS. What is the unit of 10 log of PT? What is the unit of 10 log of PT and 10 log of PS? So the final, although the inputs are in dBm, the answer of the difference is in dB. Yes, because ये भी answer dB था, फिर तुम compare नहीं कर पाते ना. What we actually get through the system is dB, right? Yes or no? Is this point clear? Yes or no? Yeah. ठीक है. So although your input ये भी dBm में था, ये भी dBm में था, when I take the difference, the unit becomes dB. Okay. So what is the system margin? That is predicted margin is 6 dB, right? अगर मैं इसमें, yeah, if in this he's saying that the predicted margin is 6 dB, means plus margin करूं, so how much do I get is plus 6. How much is plus 6? It is 35.2 dB. And what is the maximum margin that is allowed is 36 dB. So this loss is less than 36 dB. So the link that is under consideration is a feasible link. That is what will be your conclusion, that the link length, that means they may even sometimes ask you is, they may not give you L and ask you what should be the L so that your link is a feasible link. Then using these two relations, you need to calculate 36 allowed here. So if I keep this as 36, what will be my link length? That is how we do the analysis. Is it clear, this problem? Should I clear it? So this is a solution. What we have done is 35.2 है और आपका 36 dB. This is wrongly written. It is 36 dB, not dBm. And so the signal can be received without distortion is your conclusion. Now, one more question you need to do is, consider a 1550 nanometer laser diode that launched a 3 dBm optical power level into a fiber fly lead. That's basically your point of contact from the transmitter. So that's a fly lead. An indium gallium arsenide APD, avalanche photodetector, with a minus 32 dBm sensitivity at 2.5 Gbps, and a 60 kilometer long optical cable with 0.3 dB per kilometer attenuation. Assume that here a short optical jumpers cable is needed at each end between the end of transmission, the SONET equipment rack. Assume that each jumper cable introduces a loss of 3 dB. In addition, assume a 1 dB connector loss occurs at each fiber joint, 2 at each end because of the jumper cables. Okay. So basically in this, PS is given to be 3 dBm, PR is minus 30 dBm. So what will be the maximum power margin? What is power margin? कितना होगा कैलकुलेट करके बताइए. ट्रांसमिटेड है 3 dBm एंड रिसीवर पे मिनिमम पावर आना चाहिए minus 32 dBm. कितना है पावर मार्जिन? 35 dB. Okay. Now, how many connectors are there? He's saying that 2 at each end because of the jumper cable. Means this is connector 1, connector 2, connector 3, connector 4. So what is the total connector loss or total loss if I calculate? The number of connectors is 4 into the connector loss, which is 1 dB. 4 dB. Plus there are this fiber has a attenuation of -3 dB per kilometer and the link length is 60 kilometers. So it is 0.3 dB into the link length, right? Plus he's saying that launched a 3 dB optical power. Yeah. Each jumper cable introduces a loss of 3 dB. Meaning each jumper cable means there are 2 jumper cables of 3 dB loss. So it is 2 into jumper cable loss. Right? So what is your total loss? 4 plus 0.3 into 60 plus 2 into 3 dB, right? So is this a feasible link? Plus margin अगर हम assume करें, as I said, the normal value of margin is 6 dB, right? So अगर मैं margin, or basically how much margin can be allowed? Margin, taking margin to be 6 dB for any link, the system margin is say 6 dB. तो total loss कितना हो जाएगा? 28 plus 6, which is 34 dB. Tell me, is it a feasible link? You will be able to get the output with this link with permissible margin. Yes or no? This is what is an answer that is expected. Possible here because your loss is less than the
dB.
permissible margin. 35 is permissible, your loss is 34. Okay.